Let's do Adele's French twist. And I just want to give you my version of breaking down French twist into sections because it's a lot of hair, it's a lot of balancing, and I'm going to go over her photo and show you how to break down the sections and how to really look into it. You can see the direction of her hair. This is the way a French twist should look. It should have a beautiful line with her face and with the shape. And she has a lot of hair, so we're going to break this down into sections. You can see some great texture in here. You can even see that it's not perfect, and you can see some pins. So you want to look at the front and look at the section, and you also want to see in here the direction of the hair. You can see that there's almost a line break here, that we're going to do a twist that's somewhat underneath and hidden inside, and then you take these larger sections and you wrap them over. So let's pay attention to the hot rollers and the directional setting, which is really important for the flow and the fullness of a French twist. It really helps pop the hair from the root, and feel free to put in any products you need. Dry shampoo, mousse, spritz. Even if she has super fine hair, you might want to do the crimping at the root area. Just make sure all the outer edges are silky smooth. We're going to be working a sectioning system inside. Talk to your guest about her front. How vintage does she want it? How classic? This is more classic and less vintage. A flat part would be a little bit more retro. So section 1, she always has to be comfortable with that, and it's a great place to have a conversation. So section 2 and 3 are the sides. And when we go into section 4, I'm going to just kind of think about my direction and my crown area so that I can separate out section 5, which is always the back, and I can create that base twist without too much hair in my hands. You want to make sure when you come over with your seam that you don't lock in hair. You want to make sure it's all up. You'll always see that the ponytail end is at the higher end of the section, and when I twist it over, it will continue to be high. So I'm making a vertical seam, and I'm locking my pins, and I'll give you a close-up in a moment. You want to make sure that this is secure. Now you'll notice I did not do any tease. You could, if your client didn't have the density, you could tease this up to give yourself a puffier back and a place to pin in. But with this hair, we really did not need the tease. We want to focus on getting everything up into the crown. So there I'm just straightening out my section and adding that in, finishing off with now a nice solid pinned base. I'm going to take the ends of my comb here and tease internally. This will help keep that whole quote-unquote ponytail together so it won't get sloppy and separate. It'll stay together. And again, this is about your hair. You might need more tease than this, where you could just tease the underneath. But smoothing that front section before bringing it across. And I'm going to stick in a little ponytail here, which is again going to minimize the amount of hair in my hands just by flipping that in and rolling it up. Give yourself a chance and a few tries. These are nice, long, heavy hairpins, and they're going to help hold that bottom in shape. And remember, we still have a lot of hair to bring over this, so you can see I didn't make it too big to start with. We have to bring up the sides, and we have to work in section 4 the crown, and we have to bring in section 1 the front. So I'm creating a foundation and a base right here, making sure it's pinned in well, because in a sense, a good section of this is a self-padding. So taking section 4 and really cleaning and smoothing, thinking about the direction and working with your guest from the front. How much does she want to see? How high does this piece want to go? And this will give you, again, another foundation for building the rest of the design upon. So smoothing as I go with my Paul Joseph dry working spray. I love how dry the spray is. It doesn't make the hair swell or curl or frizz, and it gives a beautiful shine. Just wrapping this around because I kind of feel that her twist is more of a cone shape, almost beehive, and using the silver clips to hold things in place so you are free to pin. Again, I'm considering all the rest of the hair that still has to come up and building a nice shape to the foundation, a nice foundation. It's just a little stick helping to smooth it a little bit. Going in and pinning the inside right into that bit that's underneath. And you'll see in some of the sections, I'm going to slow down the tape and slow down the pinning. You want to move along as things are well pinned so everything is having a good base. Now this piece on the side here, it could have been added into the bottom French twist, but I'm just deciding not to because that would have added so much more hair to the cone shape, and I'm wrapping it across instead. It creates a really pretty woven look in the back. I want to grab some of this and some of this, right? And not have anything show on the top. So this is going in here. This is going to come through. There's my little bead. Let it close. Just grab a snip and down. And you can just kind of comb that. So pinning within and closer to the top will definitely help hold. You can take those ends and do something more decorative, but we are sticking with our chic kind of French twist and not trying to let it get too vintage. So I stuffed that tail inside. Beautiful shine. Gonna work now bringing up the other side. Again, you always see me brushing up. I'm brushing in the direction where I want the hair to go. I'm keeping my fingers long and that the section is wide, and that'll really help it smooth. And it also helps cover a lot of space. If your guest didn't have a lot of hair, you might have padding at some point in this design that you need to cover. And you could just feel it. I'm going to leave all the pins right there so you can see. I'm going to grab another one, let a little bit of it close, go right in to the other sections that are underneath. You can see those, and then I'll just go over them and they'll disappear. I'm going to go grab a little bit right down to the head. And grab a little bit right down to the head. And take my clip out. So now you can take your teeth and you just going to cover those. So bringing that tail around, cleaning again as I go. Going to tuck it in just to keep that clean, chic look. Checking my shape. Now these hairpins, following along the hair and just sticking them in just helps secure the tails and all the bits. Finishing off with the front, keeping it tight there at the bottom section, but doing a little pinching in the crown. Gonna wrap this around and smooth it in. Pin it in. And there you go. It's a beautiful look. And certainly at this point, you would work yourself into a really much stronger spray. Pinning along that clip is just going to hold that close to the head and prevent it from drooping. And securing some more pins before I let her go to the party, right? Thanks for watching.